Well, it's that time of the year again. The day of spooks and scares rapidly approaches, and with it, a plethora of traditions. Whether it be going from house to house to embezzle candy or watching horror movies into the night, everyone has their very own special way of celebrating. And I'm for sure no exception, as in the spirit of the season, I have a truly spooky video prepared for you all. Hello everyone, this is the RPG Monger, and with me asking for your worst fandom stories from all the fandoms I've covered so far, holy crap did you deliver. So gather around the campfire because let's be real, what's scarier than some good old-fashioned fandom horror stories? Oh, and before I go into it, basically what I'm gonna be doing is, along with the stories you all gave me, there are also some that almost made it into the fandom files but just had to be cut due to time constraints. And remember, like always, you should never actually judge an entire fandom and its inhabitants just from these stories. And I'm gonna skip a few of the fandoms I've done so far, as there just weren't really any stories left for me to cover. So Hetalia, now that's a scary fandom if I've ever seen one. To start things off, here's a story that just barely missed making it into my video. I give you the Weeaboo Thief. Alright, so with this story, we start out with a mildly average German-American girl, and overall with great friends, a great house, and loving parents, her life was pretty normal, or at least it was, until she decided to stop by her school's anime club, a decision she would regret for years to come. Now, while the club was notorious for its rabid weeaboos, she still had a pretty enjoyable time with the people who weren't such beasts. Though while she was ignoring the weeaboos politely, a certain one of them wasn't ignoring her, as before she knew it, one of them had separated from the pack and appeared inches from her face, squealing. Though what would prompt such behavior? Well, funnily enough, all it took was a pin of the German flag to completely entrance this creature. And entrance it did, because after saying such things as OMG, Germany flag, and this is hurting me internally. Nah, Alice-chan, let's walk home together, nah. Keep in mind, all of this is being said in a forced, squeaky anime voice as well. So along with her making the German-American girl say things in German due to her obsession with the character from Hetalia, she began basically stalking the protagonist of our tale, with her even taking pictures of the German girl's home. And to fast forward to the climax, whereas it's just creepy right now, it becomes downright freaky later. So now it's summer, and with the German girl's parents busy running errands, she hears a knock at the door. Lo and behold, it's the Weeabeast, this time sporting a Naruto shirt sloppily cut into a strappy one. And without permission, not only does she barge into the house and swim in the German girl's pool, but get this, she goes into the German girl's room and actually attempts to steal things. It gets worse too, as once the stolen goods were retrieved, it was Hetalia merch. Just guess what she does next. If you guessed, jump on the German girl and tell her to break up with her boyfriend to in turn become the Weeaboo's Seme? Ding ding ding, you must be a psychic, because even I can't make that shit up. And after pulling all of that crap just because of her Hetalia-fueled obsession with Germany and Germans, our unfortunate protagonist does the only thing she really can at this point, and knees her in, well, her vital regions, we'll just say. Even after bailing out of the room and running downstairs, legitimately the only thing to stop this slime was the fact that, thankfully, the girl's dad had actually gotten home in the middle of all of this and proceeded to kick the Hetaboo out of the house. That was pretty spooky, right? Thankfully though, there is a happy ending, as that thing ended up being expelled for a week and never harassed anyone ever again. Well, okay, with JoJo, Tokyo Ghoul, and Danganronpa, like Attack on Titan, there weren't really any notable stories left to tell. But then, there's Rick and Morty. Now, here's the thing with this fandom. Not only is it still a hotbed for disaster, but on the exact day that I originally uploaded my video, this happened. I give you the hunt for the sauce. By now you've probably seen this, but in case you haven't, you're in for a scare.
Wait, you guys have no Szechuan sauce? No. I want Szechuan sauce! Where's my Szechuan sauce? I'm Pickle Rick! One below Dum Dum! I'm Pickle Rick! Rick! I'm Pickle Rick!
Now, if you think that's the peak of your disappointment, then you're dead wrong. As you very well may know, McDonald's brought back their Szechuan sauce in a limited time event in a stroke of marketing genius. What they didn't plan for, however, was the demand for it, because once it ran out, and it ran out fast, situations turned sour, with just a few of the occurrences being people actually stealing the sauce, protesting outside, police having to come to the scene to hold people back, and even rumors of actual stabbings taking place. Come on, put yourself in the place of the people who work low wages and have to deal with this on top of that. If anything, that's the true horror of this situation. Though putting that tale behind us, now we move up to recent times with the My Little Pony fandom only being covered a week ago. And let me tell you, there are no shortages of blood-curdling epics out there. Once again, I must advise that if you're sensitive to such topics as harassment, pedophilia, and stalking, skip to the timestamp on screen right now because this story has all of that. I give you The Stranger. It all started in the Bay Area Brony Spectacular convention. While events and panels are the main attractor for the con, it also had quite the sizable vendor hall as well. And in that vendor hall lies a booth for another convention called SAC Anime. But all of a sudden, a little 11-year-old girl runs up to the booth, desperately asking to hide as a grown man had been following her all day. Hell, the human trash heap even attempted to grab her. The only reason she talked to him in the first place was because he was wearing an MLP t-shirt. Overall, the situation was just terrible all around, but it doesn't end there, as the little girl's very saviors made an extremely bad oversight. They did not report the stalker. But what did they do instead, you ask? Well, of course, all they ended up doing was posting the story on Tumblr. Honestly, that's the really scary thing because, and this is a bit of a PSA for all of you out there, when you encounter or even witness these situations, reporting them should almost always be your #1 priority without a doubt, as while this scumbag wasn't able to catch his prey this time, he also went completely unpunished and probably continued this heinous behavior throughout the convention. Well, now wasn't that truly horrifying? We're not out of the woods yet either, as in typical campfire story fashion, now let's see what you guys have for me. Oh boy, this is a doozy. A close friend of mine was chased out of the Danganronpa fandom for being a minor. They roleplayed with another person who I'm just gonna call Terry for anonymous reasons. Terry was 18 plus and forced my friend into a relationship. They proceeded to verbally, mentally, and emotionally abuse them because my friend lied about their age. After things fell through between the two, Terry got a large portion of the Danganronpa fandom to chase said friend out. Since then, people in the fandom claim to hate minors, and still continue to witch hunt my friend to this day. And unfortunately, it doesn't stop there because the Danganronpa and Persona fandom are incredibly intertwined. These terrible people were even lurking in the Persona fandom, so my friend can't go there either. Holy shit. Out of all the crap I saw researching Danganronpa's fandom, that is by far the worst thing I've seen so far. Please extend my condolences to your friend because that's truly awful. And I know this is on a fandom I haven't done yet, but I just had to include it. And a quick warning for those sensitive to topics like rape, because this one's a doozy. I have an Undertale story. At the time, I was 9 and I was on Wattpad. I made a book showing Undertale fanarts and some other fandoms. I had gotten a comment on a Blueberry picture from some fangirl. She kept telling me how cute Blueberry was and how she wanted to— not reading that part. I just said something like, oh, I personally am not a fan of Blueberry. I like Fresh Sands instead. She was triggered beyond belief as she kept telling me how Blueberry was better and how I should burn in hell. I was a mature child, so I messaged her and asked if she could please leave me alone or I'd have to block her or even report her. She just replied with idiotic things like kill yourself or I hope you get raped. She even said that she will hunt me down and— I'm not reading that part either. At that point, I had a panic attack and started crying. You were 9 when this all happened? My god, not only were you extremely mature for that age, but the fact you had to experience that so early on is a truly painful thought. So there you have it. Now it's time to finally conclude this terrifying video, as considering that I can't even deal with telling another story just for the sake of myself, I can imagine you all aren't doing much better either. Though do not fret, as the title suggests, I do intend to make more videos like these in the future, though not as often as the Fandom Files. And speaking of the Fandom Files, I have a bit of an important question for you all regarding the state of my channel. So up until now, for over a year, I've consistently made tons of anime videos, and I only just started frequently making fandom videos recently. Considering how amazingly each of these are received compared to my anime videos, do you all think I should begin to focus on more of a broad spectrum, like with series such as the Fandom Files for example, or should I keep doing this 50-50 split between the two that I've kind of kept up? I'll set up an iCard poll for the matter, as while anime will always have some sort of a presence on my channel, I really just want to see what you all want. Oh, and sorry about this video coming out a day late, I really wanted to make sure it was perfect. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more like it, do subscribe, and today's cool thing of the day is Stranger Things 2. Now, sequels are not always the best. Most of the time, they're just shameless cash grabs on their successful predecessors, but in this case, the sequel to Stranger Things was absolutely fantastic. From start to finish, it truly surpassed the original in many ways, and in this spooky season, it would be a mistake not to watch it. So that being said, I'm the RPG Monger, and don't forget that not only are each and every one of you fantastic, but to also have an incredible Halloween in whichever way you choose to spend it.